Three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We're live with how to stack your L&D tech to build the ultimate course fast. And we're here to talk about how to use video creation and course authoring platforms together to rapidly develop the ultimate course. We're so glad you're all joining us today. I want to dive right in with introductions. Here, I'm Nick Liebman on the left there, also in this little camera window, head creator for video and learning at Powtoon. And my guest today is none other than Jennifer Foster, an instructional designer with Udutu. Hey, Jennifer, welcome along today. How are you doing?
Hey, Nick. I was half expecting the snowboard, to come down.
Next couple of slides coming soon.
All right, sweet. I'm doing really great. How are you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great, and I want to welcome everybody who's coming online here. Please let us know in the chat there your name, where you're joining us from, and what kind of courses are you creating. That also, in addition to introducing you to us in the chat there, it also helps us know that the screen, you guys can see the screen, you guys are hearing us, all of that good stuff. So let us know in the chat. I'll even type right here, hello all, right there in the chat, if you would be so kind to say hello to us. We got Dan from London creating training courses for best practices on customer support for frontline teams. I love it. We've got Jarnell from Qatar who's joining us. We got folks from all over the world who registered for this webinar. Jennifer says hi. Hi, Jennifer. Joining from Dallas, we got John. He's creating internal courses for their team, their digital marketing team. Really awesome. We've got Abby who's joining us from Sacramento, California. Good morning to you out there. Training analyst and a course developer. We're really glad to have you with us today, Abby. Jennifer says hello. We've got Jessica who says, I'm Jesse, coming from just outside Seattle. I think that's Seattle. No, maybe St. Louis, STL. Seattle or St. Louis, one of those two. And I work at Everbridge as the only learning and development specialist. So I'm always looking for fast ways to build. Yeah, I think that a lot of us have been in positions where we are really, a one-person shop for a small organization, and then speed really matters. Stephanie is joining us from the Netherlands. Welcome. We've got Rob from Edmonton who does custom compliance courses.
Oh, so that's true. My hometown.
Oh, hey. Love it. We've got Johan from Cape Town. We've got Mustafa from the UK. We've got Pippa, who is from Scanmar QED, London. Awesome. So great to have you here. Max from San Diego, Linda from Arizona. The list goes on and on. I've got dozens more there I haven't had a chance to get to yet, but I want to jump right into it. I don't want to waste your guys' time. You didn't come here just to say hello. You came here to get some powerful inspiration and info about the courses you've built. First, we're going to get to know Jennifer a little bit better, I promise. Two, we're going to learn exactly what do we mean by rapid course development, and what are some things you can consider along the way for your workflow, for the videos you're creating, for the scenarios you might build in the courses that you're creating. And then three, we're going to have a real life example Jennifer's going to share with us. She used Powtoon and Udutu to rapidly develop a course for Godfather's Pizza. Also might make you a little hungry. I hope that's okay. And then stick with us to the end. We've got some awesome resources for you that you won't want to miss. And of course, your questions answered live. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. As I said, we are going to get to know Jennifer. There's that snowboard for you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do for Udutu? And please let us know what makes Jennifer tick.
Well, Nick, I am an instructional designer for Udutu, as you'd mentioned, and I create a range of courses for a range of clients. So I for Godfather's Pizza, so it's a restaurant chain. I'll be doing courses for government agencies, pretty much anyone that's looking for online courses. They come to us and I build. And from that, I've really gotten some really great tips on how to build courses rapidly, because it isn't just one piece of content or one topic that I build courses on. It is a ton of topics. And so I sort of been able to distill some of that, some of that wisdom from all of this experience into this webinar.
I love it. And I'm really excited to get to all of that. And this is really, we want to get to the meat of it as quickly as we can. What do we mean by rapid course development? How long does it normally take to develop a course? What even kind of course are we talking about? And I'm really glad you brought this graphic to share with us today. Walk us through this here. Tell us a little bit about what, kind of course you're talking about and what an average time is to put that together. How much time could we expect to save by implementing some of these techniques we're going to learn about today?
Well, I've seen from the audience that there is quite a few people who do this for a living. Instructional designers, not surprising. They probably work within this sort of time frame too. For 1 hour of course development here, as you can see on the chart, it takes for the level 2 e-learning, an average typical project, that middle column there, 184 hours to build. So that's a typical project, and that's with some interactivity in it. A level 1, it's not super advanced, but 25% of the stuff, content, is interactive. Rapidly developing it, like being able to use the tools we're going to show you here today, and even further, we're going to even go further with that rapid development. It's 127 hours of course development of our time, instructional designers, to do 1 hour of course time. I want to, hopefully by the end of this, show you how to do that even better, like even bring those hours down more, because today you need to have content that is ready and available to develop into a course. You need to be able to do that quickly because policies and procedures are changing at quite a fast rate, and new information is being put out there on a daily basis. So you need, as a course designer for an organization or for a small business, you need to be able to get that information in front of your employees quickly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to, this is just to give everybody a little bit of an overview before we get into the meat of sort of the theory piece of this. We're going to be talking about how to optimize your workflow, right? How to talk about optimizing your tools to operate and connect in the best way possible. We're going to talk about the videos you create. In other words, how to speed up your video creation process and how to create the videos you need and only the videos that you need. Additional visuals, how to create JPEGs, GIFs, and other visual assets to complement the videos in your course. Finally, scenarios, right? Taking all of those pieces and putting them together in an interactive experience that's going to make a serious impact with your audience. So Jennifer, take us through each one of these here. We're going to start with workflow. And what do these icons mean to you? And tell us a little bit about what you do to optimize your workflow when you're creating new courses.
Well, with the reason why I was so just so taken by Powtoon and using Powtoon in my workflow is because it is a web-based program, and so is Udutu, and it allowed me the freedom to work anywhere, anytime on my courses. I didn't have to I had like a really complex, running memory for my computer. It was all easily done just through the web. And so that was like one of my big sellers for Powtoon, was that it was a web-based program and I could do it anywhere, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And then also with Powtoon, there is like amazing templates. That library is so easy to find content and to find like a really great flow and style for your courses. So if it's maybe for an organization, you can find something that really fits your needs super easy. And then all of those details in the templates are done for you. So as a designer, I need to find ways to sort of like cut down time. And one of those is the big time savers, is having the templates, because all of the flow is done for me. All of the images, all of the, fade in and fade outs are already set for me. That my imagination can go into putting that content in there. So the templates are super important for me in my workflow.
And I want to just dive in and mention also with templates, even if an entire template doesn't fit what you need to create, and this is something I know that I encounter also tons of Powtoon users I've worked with, they may really love that sort of middle part, or that maybe there's a couple of slides in there, or maybe even just one slide where there's a really cool text effect or other kind of visual effect that's really going to fit the scenario. Even just going into a template to take that one slide can save you tons of time. That's easily tweaked and turned into something you can use in different situations as well.
Yeah, I mean, that is so true. Even for the example I'm going to show you, Nick, I think I used 3 screens from the Meet Jane, and then I used those over and over, and they were just like a really good backdrop for my work. I really enjoyed having that sort of done for me.
Yeah.
And then there is the drop down menu that we have in Powtoon, and it's the publish. There's the publish button on the right hand side, and I like to sort of affectionately call that the mini fridge, because I can go to this fridge and I can make anything. So I'm not limited with just video. I can also download JPEGs, and I can download just anything from Vimeo. I can embed my video. So that's that's the fourth icon you see here, those little 2 arrows with this slash, that's embedding. So you can now, with Powtoon, you can take that video and you can embed it into your course. And why is this important, embedding it into my Udutu course? It's because when I embed that Powtoon into my Udutu course, I can now get feedback immediately from my stakeholders. I can share that easily with my stakeholders and with my subject matter experts. They can give me feedback right away, and I can make those changes immediately in Powtoon. And once I publish that again in Powtoon as an embed, it goes and does that magic in the background. And in my Udutu course, it appears, all those changes appear. So that is really important for my workflow, because transparency is so important in order to cut down the hours. If I want to cut down hours when I'm developing a course, I need everyone on board immediately, because then I can go and play immediately and get those ideas on screen for my clients.
Yeah, it's that back and forth that can really be a momentum killer.
Yes.
And
yes.
anything you can do to make that process more accessible for your stakeholders and also faster for your part as the designer, it makes a difference. And I also want to point out here, as we get into the next few slides here, no one of these items is the silver bullet that makes your videos and your courses so fast to make. It's putting them together, stacking all of these little time savers along the way that will make a significant difference over time for you in your design. So let's talk a little bit about rapidly building video. What are your techniques? What are your guidelines? And how do you really optimize that when you're creating video content for your courses?
Well, I'm going to repeat here, like I repeated in the last screen, get a template, go through the templates and look for something that really rings true. Nick, this whole presentation was made from a template, correct?
Yeah, actually, yes, what I did to create the presentation, the slide deck we're using for today's conversation, was I used some of the pre-designed scenes in Powtoon, and I constructed my deck, although those same designs are available in a video template. Okay. But what I did with that, so I knew my general flow, I knew what we were going to be talking about, and I went through, picked the ones that sort of best fit those visuals. Then I went through, and we'll talk a little bit more about this when we get to see your example, but I updated the colors to match the branding of our virtual event today, added the Powtoon and Udutu branding, and that was pretty much it. So really huge time saver leaning on those, or having a tool platform that is flexible enough for you to create videos quickly. Templates, definitely a time saver. Powtoon also has something we call Powtoon Capture. It's a Google Chrome extension that allows you to record your screen and your camera. And in so many situations, especially training folks on software or best practices with software, that can be huge as well. And doesn't need to be something that takes a lot of expensive equipment or you need to outsource. It can be something that's as simple as pointing and clicking and hitting record. So really, really cool. Now, tell me a little bit about when you're creating a video, do you have any guidelines for yourself in terms of length, what makes for a good video, in terms of like, what are the boundaries I need to put on it for myself as a creator?
Yeah, because once you put boundaries on yourself, at least for me, I find that it's easier to create because I have limited myself in some way. And one of those ways is limiting the time. So I make my videos 60 seconds or less. It's kind of the rule. And that's not only because it's really great to develop in the developing end. And I'll use many short videos to tell the stories you'll see in one of the examples at the end here. But I use it because also a lot of people are taking their courses on mobile these days, and you engaging them with more than 1 minute video is a really hard sell. It's a hard sell on a mobile device. So keeping it to 60 seconds keeps it mobile friendly and keeps your learners like super satisfied with their training. So that's one of the things we do as instructional designers is look at how is this learner going to like this training, and kind of getting into the seat of the learner.
Yeah. It's even something in terms of Powtoon users in different fields, I've seen this trend, even since I've been at Powtoon. It's sort of, I think everyone sort of feels like, well, attention spans are, harder to come by now, or at least there's more competition for our attention. As you mentioned, mobile devices and interacting with social media has had an impact on all that kind of stuff. But even in the last couple of years, that kind of like 90-second, minute and a half animated explainer that used to be the standard, even that is feeling a little long these days to a lot of audiences. So I think that's key. And also that's important, this is something that you brought up when we were speaking earlier, but that, you don't have to have one video that does everything. And in fact, in this case, if you're creating a course that includes scenarios, it may be even important to not have video in every moment. So having that 60-second limit can even also force some important choices in editing about what gets into that video, what doesn't need to be a video, but maybe we can present it in a different way in a different part of the course. Maybe it can be left out entirely.
Yeah, it's a really great way to sort of give yourself some parameters to move forward. And especially if you haven't used video before, I encourage you, 1 minute, use the templates. You're going to have something that really speaks. You're going to have a really great product that your employer or your client will really enjoy. So yeah, keep it to that 1 minute. And also I kind of, as far as again, going from the beginning where I was telling you about how just there's many different types of training I create. Well, the one thing I've noticed with video is if I target certain spots in my courses, it is really time saving, and also the value really increases for the learner. So sort of quickly creating a 1 minute video to open the course, to describe to the learner, why should I even care about this course? Why am I taking this course? Sort of unfold the course for them. Not only is it a great place for the learner to sort of to get meaning to the course, but it's also opening your course. So it's setting the stage immediately. So you have a nice little 1 minute video. If you're going to put one video in, put that video in. And then I would also suggest if you can put a little video on summarizing topics. So if you give them scenarios or topics or just information, give a tiny little video, 20 seconds to summarize the main points of that information. So just tiny, again, just very, very micro moments of video throughout your course, weave through text. There's some text in there, there's images, but we also have that little video to keep that sort of multimedia going.
Yeah. And speaking of images and more, you've also mentioned that it's not just video that you can create with Powtoon that you want to include in your course. There's also static designs, GIFs, sort of micro animations. Talk to us about that. How do you use those in your courses?
Well, a lot of times in my courses, I have characters. And so with those characters, and especially in Powtoon, comes really great opportunities for just a little GIF, which has them just waving hey, how's it going? And so I will use GIFs to sort of just put some life on the page. And it's really easy because it's already from a video that I've created for that course. And so I just need to create the GIF from the set. I can capture that easily with that little fridge. I just go up, capture the GIF, super easy, 6-second splice out of the video I've already created. So I'm reusing that material. I'm reusing it. But still making, and it's still also not only just reusing it because it's easier for me, but the learner, it really helps the learner I'm in my course, there's this consistency. I'll take images from that video that I've done. Sometimes I'll add a few elements. I'll add a few props in there to make it more interesting for that screen, whatever content is on that screen. But I'll take a screen capture, or not screen capture, sorry, you can actually just download as a JPEG and upload it into Udutu. And you have this really wonderful, consistent flow of images. I used to use Adobe. I used to go in and think, okay, so I have made my Powtoon, and now I'm going to make all my images in Adobe Photoshop and in animation. And I go in there and be like, oh, it doesn't seem as consistent. And then I realize, like, wait a minute, you are working way harder than you should be. Go back to Powtoon and get those images there.
Yeah.
And making us a library of icons. A library of icons is super easy with like the predetermined shapes in Powtoon. And they have, a library, tons of assets, not just little tiny snippets of video, but you guys have tons of assets too, like of really great images, full length on every subject. I can pretty much guarantee I can find an image if I'm looking, if I'm searching for it.
Yep, stock footage, stock images, all available, and also design text and other items there, icons and calls to action, and of course the character sets, shapes, other overlays, and items like that all go from a video element to now a static element or an animated element that's in your course platform as well. And I think it's really, when we're talking about the ultimate course, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about a course that seamlessly moves between video content, written content, interactive content, static content that's just along for the journey to create this experience that is not quite like watching a video and not quite like clicking through a presentation and not quite like taking a test, but it has elements of all of that in there. And then, I think the thing too, when we're talking about theory here, and I really am so grateful for everyone's patience. We're going to get to the real life example very, very shortly. But I also want to just mention, okay, you've got your branding and your visuals, you've got your video components, you've got your icons and other visuals that you're using. Then it's time to put them together into a scenario. And this is also something, I think whenever you're being creative, it's easy to get lost in the details. What are some of these tips here for rapidly building scenarios? How do you shave time off your approach to constructing a scenario engagement for your learners in the same way that you've been doing with the videos and other visual assets that you're creating?
Yeah, so now that, again, this was like a very iterative process, trying to figure out how to do this quickly. And it's super valuable, and it makes your training so much more personable when you put a scenario together and put it into a course. Sometimes my whole course will just be a scenario. It'll be following an employee on their worst day ever. And they'll, just get to go through making choices along the way. And that's the entire course. And sometimes I weave these scenarios as very important pieces of information, though, because it also summarizes and sort of lets I'm talking to instructional designers. We all know this. It lets the expert go on screen and lets the new person take a look into that life of an expert in that information. So it's, so when you're building scenarios, the quick way that I sort of attack this, I'm like, you can just do a scenario on screen, black and white scenario, you're just text, you're golden. But with video and with the interactivity of Udutu, you can sort of build a branching scenario. And I recommend, if you're doing a rapid development, you want to do a branching scenario that's a linear. So you have one end goal, you have one last screen. They don't branch complex. There's no complexity in it in that way, but it's still complex for the learner because they're still getting to make, or interactive for the learner because they get to still make choices along the way. So I like to simplify the choices. I like to give just two. I get the right answer, and then something that's really plausible and something that's like that where they kind of want to, where we want to remediate them. Like we want to give them feedback like, oops, actually, you don't want to do that. Go back. And I just bring them back to the path. So it makes it a lot faster to develop these types of scenarios, and you can still be used in rapid development and it's still interactive.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think a lot of folks have in their mind that putting together a branching scenarios kind of situation is just going to be really, I have to write 16 courses now and have them all like that. In fact, you can have the experience of this scenario that the person is clicking through when actually the course itself is very simple, and that gives them a chance to have that sort of interactive experience, but you as a creator don't have to go through and, write 14,
and endings that you'll never
novels
see.
about it that they'll never see. Exactly.
Totally,
And
totally.
also, I love this other one, give them a gimme. I mean, this is so important in terms of the psychology of the learner. You need to change things up and make it possible for them to have a success no matter what,
Yeah.
so that they
Yeah.
keep going, right? So how do you give them a gimme, if you will? What's the way that you do that?
Well, sometimes there's just one option. Like nobody is going to pick the other option. Like it's just why, as a course designer, don't waste your time in that. Just give them the right answer and be like, let them click on that, and it'll just take them to the story. It's still like a nice interaction. It still gives that nice flow, and the learner is not going to fault you for it. It's like, yeah, that is the right. Why would I do anything else? I can't think of anything else to do here.
Right.
So yeah, just give them a gimme, but also that just helps the transition of the scenario as well. And then there is, you'll see in one of the examples we showed at the very end, but the womp womp screen, which is, I don't know if you can hear it, Nick, but it's, thank you. The trombone, I see a trombone coming out at me when I hear this. It's the screen that you can use as a template screen. You can make the video in Powtoon and upload it into Udutu. And then you have this screen that anytime someone gets something wrong, there's sort of like a visual recognition from whatever you made in Powtoon that they got the question wrong. And it'll just lead them back onto the path. So having that womp on screen is really fun. And yeah, just use alternative media. Start with a video, with a quick video to introduce the scenario, and then feel free to go and change it up to text. Have text. Honestly, in a lot of ways, we can be like, oh, video is just so much more. It's better. It's 60,000 times processed faster than text, and like you got to use video. But sometimes a learner likes to take a moment to like go through a list and just read it at their own pace and be able to have that sort of those different transitions and those different styles of learning. So just sort of like feed that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, alternative
love
media.
it. Well, I think it's, first of all, really awesome stuff. And thank you for, working on this and optimizing this and building a bunch of courses and learning how to save time and sharing that with everyone on the webinar, because your hard work is everyone else's benefit here. So thank you so much for that. I think it's time to dive in and see this real life example that you created for Godfather's Pizza. Really, really cool. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to, and then you can share your screen, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
While you're doing that, I am just going to remind everyone, we will have a chance for question and answer coming up after this example here. I do just want to mention a couple of folks asked a couple of things here that I just want to throw out there. But Edward wanted to know, will that slide, he meant sort of our summary slide, I think, before we got into the individual pieces of Jennifer's insights here. Will that slide be available, as it's very useful for communication in my organization? Edward, fear not, a full replay of this webinar is coming your way, including everything you saw on the screen today. So that will be coming soon. Also, we've got Dan in London who's asking, how much input into the design of a course do you let your client have? He's got some more to that question there. So I want to put that in the parking lot, Dan, if that's okay. Until we get to the Q&A section, I'm going to remind everyone that we do have Q&A later. At that point, you want to type in your question now, you can. If you guys see a question there that you like, you can give it a little thumbs up and updo it, and that'll let us know the most popular questions when we do get to the Q&A time. But right now, let's Jennifer, take us through this awesome course.
Right. So this is a customer service course that I built for Godfather's Pizza. We reimagined a lot of their training, and this is one of the pieces that was pretty important to their new rollout. And I wanted video in it, and we hadn't really had the budget for video, but we were like, we're going to make video happen. And this is where I found Powtoon. So I found Powtoon and this crossing happened, and I was like, oh, wow, this is super easy to do. I'm having a lot of fun creating it. And actually, this is my first real big attempt at using Powtoon and Udutu. And it was about a 50-hour investment in time. So quite a bit less than what you saw at on that first screen. And so
even that, maybe about a third of that total figure there. So even though that was taking it down, I don't know, about 30%, from the full thing, and then getting past there, this is maybe even a third of that. So rapid, I might almost.
Yeah. And so again, using some of those tips, I'll show you how it looks in a course. So here is the learner outcomes for the course, and we've just Powtoonified it with one of the list items. It's a template from Powtoon. I put my Godfather's colors in here, Godfather's pizza colors, the yellow, orange, or yellow and red. And then I have my 4 characters. So it's a guest interactions, a customer service course. We're going to meet 4 guests in this. And I've captured this as an image from the video that I created, which you'll see next. And it just gives I don't know if you heard, it might have been interrupting Nick, but there was narration on each screen as well. So we also really like that to be able to have that narration. So we have narration on each screen. And then we have the video that we start. This is where it's happening here. We have the meet of typical guests you'll serve at Godfather's Pizza. And if we go in, and we can see we have Rhea. She has a few favorite menu items, and she loves a good bargain. So sort of setting the stage for each character. All of these characters were already pre-made with in Powtoon. They were stock images, and they were, they still did a great job of showing the diversity of the customers, the guests that go to Godfather's Pizza. And so then we also have Manuel. He has a complaint. So what would a customer service course be without someone who's complaining? We need to know how to work through that. And so then I followed up with a Udutu menu screen, and it gives those 4 customers, again, those 4 guests, and you can go in and you start sort of the little scenario, and it gives you sort of the intro with the video. So we have Kobe. It further explains what his needs are and how we can help him at Godfather's Pizza. Here you can see there's a little icon there that we got from Godfather's Pizza. We have their logo right in there. And then next, we summarize what we just learned. So we've learned a bunch of information, and now we just summarize. This is that screen I go over and over again to keep that flow going. And the video, we're back in with Kobe, and we're seeing what happened to Kobe. What's going on? Is he getting his food? Is the employee doing a great job of guest interactions? And again,
sorry to interrupt, I just want to also remind folks in there that, and we'll see this some more when we take a look at these videos inside Powtoon. But, in terms of rapid development, that scene there with Kobe on the phone and with Godfather's speaking with him, really the main changes between these slides is only text. I mean, that's really the main change that's happening here. So I saw that Yuna asked a question about approximately how long does it take to create a video, 60 seconds in length. It really depends on the video you're creating and how many different scenes there are in it. But it could be as simple as choosing that scene, multiplying it out, and then updating the text. So anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Script. No, if you have a strong script, as I did, I had a strong script from our subject matter expert at Godfather's Pizza. It can be, that's what makes it rapid. So you're looking at content coming to you as well as an instructional designer, as someone who's creating courses. And it's really nice because I'd always have the content coming at me in nice, neat packages, and I'd be able to bring them out to life. So yeah, this is, again, like Nick was saying, it didn't take me long, a few hours for this one, maybe a few hours to get just here. You see, I had to find this beautiful image of their restaurant. That's right from Godfather's Pizza. Just kind of give that, so the brand, give the brand some stage, and the colors here, I'll show you again in Powtoon how I do it. I think, honestly, here, we'll look at a question. So then there's also questions that you can embed in or weave into your course as well. So you've given them some summary screens, you've given them something to think about. I might even have added another 1 or 2 questions here. I'm a bit more heavy with those knowledge checks, because that's really the key to the getting a learner engaged, is just giving them an opportunity to show that they know it. I got the information. So we have, when you submit the question, we have, sorry, that's incorrect. It gives you remediation, and we can, and again, if they get it correct, you can give them feedback on the correct answer. And we go and we get a summary of sort of the whole scenario, and just sort of step by step. again, giving the opportunity to the learner to just sort of absorb the material in a new way, a different way. And again, more video here. And we have a nice little more info screen. So it just gives them hot tips on using the telephone. There we go. And then we have like a order the steps in Udutu. So you can order your steps from the guest interaction. What would be the most logical way to, that's only partially correct. Okay. And you get all the feedback. And yeah, and then you come back to your screen and you get to go through 3 more guests and have sort of that same interaction with the material.
Amazing. So let's look at what this looks like in Powtoon. How did you create all of this stuff?
Okay, so in Powtoon, here we have Kobe. It's the full version. So basically what I do is I create the entire scene, all of those little micro videos, those 10, 15, 30-second videos, all in the one story. So this way I have the whole script built out. And then when there's opportunities to teach them something about the guest interaction, that's when I cut the video and I cut to a summary screen or to just like an information screen. So
so as we just saw in there, this interaction where Kobe's deciding they need some dinner, and then he's on the phone, and those interactions there, you created this as one long Powtoon, but then split it up in the course to have those moments to reiterate an important point or to emphasize something you really need the learner to understand. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so then we have and it again is so like as Nick said, look at these screens here on the left-hand side. They're all the same, basically all the same, but they do a really good job of exploring this scenario, the situation that Kobe is in and wanting his hungry belly here. And then it also gives the information on like how the best way for an employee to respond on the phone to the situation. So
just want to say also, for folks who are not familiar with Powtoon, it's as simple as, if you go ahead and click on one of those, double click on that text box. It's as simple as editing text that you would be used to in any text box, a slide deck software or anything like that you might be used to, and you can see the spell check is already built in. Right, you got spell check from your browser in there. You've got the align left, align right, and font size and all those things for text. Also, color, super important. Color also for shapes. And other design elements, which is super cool. Sorry, if you could just linger on that for a moment, Jennifer. Color is great because if you could click on that, we see you can enter a hex code. You can choose any of those basic preset colors. You can use the palette there to move your mouse around. If you click right there where you are, nope. That little
right here.
Down. Then you can, if you want to just match it visually, you can do that. But again, probably the most powerful is the hex code, or right there, that dropper, that color sampler allows you also to sample anything you've got on your stage as well. The color,
for me, the hex code is pivotal,
and especially when you're working with a client who has specific branding, you're definitely going to want to be sure that you've got that exactly right. You can enter it in there, and then if you also want to save it, just click that plus sign and add it to my colors. Then you've got it there in your palette, and you can just do it in one click. And as you also, I mentioned, if you guys take a look over on the right in the scenes menu where it says circle, see that on the scenes menu?
Right
see circles, the fourth, fifth one down there.
The circles. That's circles. The one you used for
this is the one I used to as the base for creating the presentation we used for the webinar today. And you can see, click it in one click, you can have it there. But you'll also notice that those aren't the colors that we had in our presentation today. What I wanted to do was match the branding for the registration page and all the other things that we did there. So if you be so kind, I don't want to, you can undo real quick if this causes any problems along the way. But if you wanted to update, you've got the brand color that you want to use. You can unlock those elements, click color, choose the color you want to change it to, and then click apply to matching colors. And now every similar item with that same color is going to be updated to that branded color in one click. You don't have to go through to every slide and update. So that really also is an incredibly powerful way to save time when you're doing this, and also to worry about your structure first and then do a sweep for the branding, the colors, etc., and things like that.
Yeah, it's super quick to do. You get a whole template, like that whole, you get a video template, there's 30 screens,
Mhm.
right click, add that color, and it's just like, it's magic. You're like, oh,
And
there's all my branding
also
done.
a little bit about your workflow here. So in other words, with these, with a got a slide, let's say this, right, this conversation slide where he's having his phone call. Once you've got this set up, show me then how you would go about duplicating it for what you're doing or saving it to use
Yeah.
in a future video.
Well, okay, so Nick showed me one thing, but what I used to do is I used to just like duplicate. And so then I'd have this scene and I would like it. I'm like, yeah, all the elements are there, and I'm just going to duplicate it and use it over and over
Mhm.
for the rest of the video. And then, but you can also, this is wonderful, save the scene, because if you
Right,
can save the scene, then you can put it into other Powtoon projects.
right.
So it's like duplicating it for other Powtoon projects, which is a really excellent way
Yeah. And
to
just like
keep
we
that
had,
branding.
exactly. And just like we had, also to save time, you've done the work to create this, whenever I'm going to have, two folks on the phone, it's going to probably be something similar to this. Maybe I'm going to change the colors. Maybe I'm going to swap the character for a different character, but I know I'm going to generally have a slide. It's going to be about this length. It's going to have these design elements. You can save it in the scenes, just like those pre-designed scenes, but you've got it up in my scenes and you can use it in any other video. Really, really powerful.
And if you don't like something in the template, it's so easy to swap out too.
Mhm.
That's another thing. You can
Yeah.
swap out super easy and find something that matches more the style of what you're looking, the message you're trying to say. So yeah, you can do that as well. There's tons of little tips and tricks. You have some great webinars too.
Thank you.
Like that is
Yeah.
how I found you, was through your sound effects webinar. And
Ah,
it was
excellent.
just, yeah, it was great. That's how I found Powtoon. And I was like, oh, this is, yeah, I really like how he hones in on this one detail of sound effects, which I really like using in my video, because
Yeah.
it adds emphasis and really like so much to a video. And such a little time, it's such a little time to do,
Yeah.
because you have such a library of sound effects. So you have music you can add. This one has music, but I've just disabled the sound to my web browser. So I'm like trying to figure out how to get that back.
That's okay.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. But yeah, it has
It's okay.
music,
Yeah. Click
audio, and
audio
we
there.
have
Hmm.
we have I think this is new too, because before it used to be mixed in with the audio. Now you can see the
Correct.
sound
Yeah.
effects.
Now,
Mhm.
yeah, we've got sound effects split out. You can add those to the slide just like you would add any other,
Yeah.
a character or a prop or anything like that. Of course, you can't see anything visually on the slide, but you can see it down there on the timeline.
And it shows
And
the volume here.
yeah, you can
Change
adjust the
volume.
relative volume of your sound effects. That plus a compelling soundtrack, can really make a big difference for the viewer and for how powerful this is. We actually will also, giving you guys so many teases. We've got another one of those resources we're talking about. It uses sound effects really well. So we'll talk a little
Yeah.
bit more of that in a moment, but
Right.
I'd love to, we've got so much else to talk about in Powtoon in terms of the characters, the poses, even our character
Yeah.
builder
Geez.
that allows you to create your own characters, to customize their look, to customize their clothing, to add a logo, even to customize their facial features, skin color, hairstyles, all that sort of stuff. Is available in there as well. But I want to put this together too. We're talking about stacking tech here, and that means getting the most efficient, best use out of Powtoon, but also combining that with other platforms to really get to your goals. So let's talk a little bit about Udutu. Let's show everybody what it looks like putting this
Yeah.
together in the Udutu setup.
So yeah, with Udutu, those screens that I showed you, I'll just quickly show you what they look like when you're on the editing end, when you're adding elements into the course. And so here's that intro screen. You see this right here on the very top. We have these little templates for us.
Mhm.
If you see a blue square with a yellow star, that just means a media element. You can put the GIF, you can upload the GIF there. You can upload a slideshow if you wanted. You can upload your video. Any media element works in these blue and yellow. And then we've made it so that it's kind of like there's a template. You can kind of put it into different orientations as you like here we could put text beside this guest interactions. Now it doesn't seem the most reasonable, so we'll put it back to the big blue star or big yellow star with the blue background. And then we have the learner outcome. So again, this one was just an image that I had captured from Powtoon. So I just hover over here, I add, and I go in once I get my download and I choose my file. I found it. I always just go into my downloads. I just download everything. It's so much easier for my workflow. I know and then I organize after. I'm like, okay, this is all Godfather's pizza. And so yeah, we have it in downloads, and then I have a more info screen. I believe this one is, and we have this one's a text, and we have text and an image. So again, just adding that image in from Powtoon, and then here we can just add our text for the screen. And so super easy. We have our title for the screen here. So it just makes everything so consistent. The theme as well, to build the theme in Udutu for the mobile template, super easy, super fast. You don't have to worry about that either. You have a theme, you have your colors, you can put your branded colors in as well. And so yeah, it's super easy. So you just go into your theme builder, and we have just seven. Once you put 7 parameters in, it just all the magic happens, and you don't have to worry about margins or PowerPoint. You can just make it look like a mess sometimes.
Right.
This makes it just look consistent and good. All of your content,
Wow.
wherever you put your images and your text, and then we have that menu screen. Meet your guests. Again, it's so great because you can edit this anywhere. So we have Rhea walks up to the counter to order dinner for herself. You can hover over that and you can edit this, and you can choose what folder you would like to put that. So I have Rhea, Kobe, Manuel, Daisy. So it just links this button to the menu, to the folder that it corresponds with. So yeah, that's how you get it into Udutu.
And when you're ready to share this, when you're ready to show it, to some stakeholders, when you've got some comments along the way, or even when you're ready to publish and make it live, what are the steps there? What's available to folks?
So if you go to the Publish tab, we have Publish Preview, which is great for stakeholder subject matter experts. Immediately, again, that transparency, making it so much easier for me to build the course and faster for me to build the course. I can just copy this launch email or this website, and it goes, and I can send that through any means. I can send that through email. This link here is actually unique to the course as well. So once your stakeholder and subject matter expert has this link, it's linked to whatever changes you make. So whenever you republish that course, those changes you make in Udutu will reflect in that link for your whoever you shared it with. And so yeah, it's really nice. Again, similar to Powtoon with the embed. And then we have download your course. So you can even download this. You can use this in another LMS. It's SCORM compliant. So you can download this course and you get a zip file, and you can upload it into your own LMS, or you can publish it to Udutu LMS. So you have that option. Both of them talk very nicely to each other. If you republish it here, you make changes in your course, it'll reflect in your Udutu LMS.
Amazing. So, yeah. Very cool. Well, I am going to, if it's all right with you, I'm going to share my screen once again, because we've made it to resources, ladies and gentlemen. These are some really important resources I want to share with you all. I'm going to send you these links right in the chat. First of all, if you want to learn more about using Powtoon with Udutu, if you want to sign up, if you're not using Powtoon yet, you want to sign up for an individual account, or if you think Powtoon might be right for your organization and you want to speak to one of our solutions experts, I would recommend visiting powtoon.com/partner-udutu. I've just sent that link to everyone in the chat. Do check out that page to learn more and to speak with one of our experts. I also, this is, unfortunately, we can't, unless you guys go and get yourself hired by Godfather's Pizza, I'm not sure you'll be able to experience the Godfather's course yourself, but we do have another course that Jennifer created to share with you. I begged her to let us share this here because you may or may not know, we recently had our 100 millionth, that's a mouthful, Powtoon created. I think it was either in late December, early January. And so we had a little bit of a contest, or it was a celebration for folks to send in the Powtoons they're most proud of. This was one of our winning entries. We featured it on our blog, of course, but I also want to share with you all here. You may have seen, in fact, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait. I'll show it to you right here, maybe, or I'm gonna move this thing.
I think it's right there, the third tab.
There it is. So
there you go.
And if I'm just going to play the opening video for folks, and they can see what we're talking about.
Welcome to the fifth game. The fifth game is glass stepping stones. The stepping stones before you are made from one of two types of glass. One will be tempered glass, and the other will be normal glass. The tempered glass stepping stones are strong enough to hold the weight of 2 people. However, the normal glass will break even if just one person steps on it. For this game, you will guess which one of the next tiles is the tile made of the stronger tempered glass, and only step on those across the 8 pair of tiles.
So if anybody saw if anybody saw Squid Game, this is a really, honestly, it's a beautiful rendering of that challenge from Squid Game. It's also an example of a really simple course. It's A or B, right? It's a really simple choice. And so you choose which character you want, you go through and play, choose left or right, go through until you can get to the other end. Also, that
linear branching scenario, right?
Exactly.
There's only one conclusion. There's only one conclusion screen, only one path that we want you to get to.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to make it across that bridge.
Yeah,
Same
exactly.
with a lot of my courses, right? I want them to get across that bridge.
Yeah. And I just also want to point out the awesome job you did here recreating the vibe and the feel from this moment in the Squid Game show. You built these characters yourself. You put together shapes. We don't have a prop for death glass bridge challenge, already pre-designed. But what you did was you took elements and put them together, used your creativity to construct exactly what that is, and really did a great job also with the sound effects and the music. It's the total package. So ladies and gentlemen, please do enjoy that resource.
And it has the womp screen in there.
It's got the womp
you will hit it. You will hit it a few times.
And that's available for you there. And I also want to just mention, we're going to start with our Q&A here, and I thank you all for your patience. But I also just want to polls. I'm going to launch this poll here, and this is really simply if you want to get some direct contact to speak to one of our solution experts, either at Powtoon or from Udutu, have someone follow up with you to tell you more about how you could benefit from this. I'm going to launch this poll. Just go ahead and click whichever one applies. You want to learn more about Powtoon, check Powtoon. You want to learn more about Udutu, check Udutu. You want to learn more about both, check both. And someone from either team will be in touch with you soon. I'm going to leave that running in the background while we also get to questions. Reminder, that Q&A box is where to put your questions. We already have a few that have come in here. Yes, Edward, I mentioned this earlier, but we are going to be sending a video replay of today's webinar via email. So you will be able to see the different screens we shared and all of that available for you. I want to get back to Dan from London's question. He wanted to know, how much input do you let clients have into the design? He says, I'm cautious to be too accommodating and possibly compromise key learning principles and therefore the course effectiveness, right? Just to satisfy clients' design or content requirements. So how do you thread that needle?
I think I cautiously, because you want them to, again, with that transparency at the very onset of the project, sort of getting things right, I find really helps me immediately. So finding the right theme and the right colors and sort of presenting to them that I am listening, that I can hear them and I know what's important to them and that what they value, that really helps me with the project flow. There's then, if in instances, Dan, where I have to convince them, they're usually on board with me. They're like, okay, yep, that's that you made your case. They'll let me make my case for, putting assessments throughout the course, or like making them 100%. They need to get 100% in order to pass the course. Some of those things that I think are kind of key to designing a course. Normally, they're bought in because I've branded their stuff and made it look really nice, and I've got the assets, and they know I'm listening to their brand, and I want to represent their brand and make great training. But you can't catch it all either. Like, honestly, you also just got to be able to sleep at night. You're like, all right, well, they won that battle. Right. I'm just going to let them, it's fine. There's going to be iterations. They're going to come back to me and be like, you know what? I think that that didn't work so well. So
Yeah.
maybe we should try your way or a
Yeah,
different way.
and just to hop on the coattails there, I mean, I think in particular, if the particular thing they're insisting on, you really feel as the professional, this is going to actually have a negative impact on on the goals you're trying to achieve with your learners,
Yep.
then that's really the place where you can make that argument, not because I think so, or I say, just because I say so, but this is what I know as an expert. This is what I know professionally about best practices here and what you're suggesting. I think actually we can make it work better this way, but it's all about that relationship and it's about transparency up front. Love it. We've got a question here from Maxon. Maxon wants to know, how do you decide when to incorporate voiceover versus just text on screen? Does Powtoon have AI generated voices? So we do not currently have a text to speech option inside Powtoon. We are looking to find the best solution to that. I know that that's a lot of folks really want that, but I promise you, bad text to speech is not good. So if we're going to include that, we want to make sure that it's really good. But what I will, if you had an insight, Jennifer, into when do you use voiceover, when do you use just text on the screen, how does that play in to what you do? How does that impact the workflow as well?
The only reason I would use AI, honestly, and it's just been proven over and over, is to show a client what their script sounds like. So it would never be on the final product. It's just something that personally at Udutu, we're just like that narration is super important, or let's just put text on screen. So really what it comes down to is budget and time. So text on screen is super fast. Like it's easy to edit. It's easy to get it out there. As far as rapid development, it can be like a time saver for sure. Once you put narration in there, you're adding a few weeks. You have to QA for the narration. And so it does add time. You can do it. Like we've done it where you can sort of like still squeeze that narration in, but it still adds a time element to it.
Also changes, at once you're making a change to a slide with text is very easy and very fast. Making a change to a recording requires either editing or re-recording, which can be very time consuming as well. So no one size fits all on that one. I do think that good voiceover is very compelling. So if if you enjoy doing voiceovers, or you got someone on your team who has a really beautiful voice or loves doing that sort of thing, or if you've got a client who's swayed by that and doesn't mind paying maybe perhaps to hire a professional to record it for them or something like that. It all depends on the project, the budget, the goals, and the resources.
Fiverr can be really inexpensive. Can be really inexpensive for narration and great quality. So, but it's, again, remember, it's going to add time to it. So it can still be part of a rapid development deploy, but like you're still going to have to balance for that. For sure.
Love it. Great answer. We've got Peter who wants to know, can we add our own GIF characters to be modified in Powtoon? Well, first of all, what I would say is all the characters in Powtoon include pre-created poses, animations that show different expressions or emotions. So you would not be able to apply those poses to image files that you upload. You can upload a character that's an image file, a GIF, an SVG, a JPEG, and you can use things like entry and exit or the A to B movement animation and other items like that to bring them to life in your video. The Powtoon characters themselves include all of those pre-designed animations. I think it really does add another level.
Funny there. How easy you can make it fit though, your narrative. Like with all of those poses, you're like, oh, I can really, I can find something to tell this story more meaningful with these poses every time. Like even that magnifying glass in the game, it's like,
and
where did that come from?
and I would also mention to Peter as well, in addition to those, you can take your image or your GIF of your character and use the different sort of animation elements that are available to any item that you're using in Powtoon, entry and exit, and A to B, and all of those options. But you also have the character builder. And so ultimately, if you're not seeing a Powtoon character that is really meeting what you're looking for, you can simply design the character that meets your needs. So hopefully that also is something that will help you find the exact thing you're looking for. So there we go. I just also, someone else mentioned, sorry.
I find that the diversity of like when you have that, the character builder was kind of a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Because it allowed me to sort of make a more diverse audience and more consistent with the branding. So it just made it, I mean, and it allowed me to put those wonderful jumpsuits on the Squid Game characters. So that would not have happened without the character builder. It's a really good tool. Really good tool.
Very cool. Yes, I mean, I love it too. It's so much fun. It's fun. Like that's man, that's the thing about it is it's not like it doesn't give you a headache to design a character. It's like, oh, that's fun. Oh, how about this? I kind of like this. It really does create a fun experience. I want to take this question here from Rob. He says, when I use a Powtoon template, do I download the template for local use and then update with my content and upload to Udutu? Is any of my custom content stored on Powtoon servers? Rob, Powtoon is cloud-based. So everything you're working on in Powtoon is saved on the cloud it's secure. Our enterprise platform includes even further security guarantees for that and sort of a service level agreement and all that sort of stuff, other benefits that come with that. But yes, you'd be opening up a Powtoon template in the Powtoon studio and then uploading, say, logo files, changing the colors, updating the text, and then either embedding the Powtoon player on a page, which is one of those sort of ways to save time, especially in the proofing and getting approval time, or you could download that MP4 and then upload that MP4 file into your LMS, into your course authoring platform or to your LMS, like we saw with Udutu there. So Rob, I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, it's so with Adobe or something, you have to do it on your desktop, right? You have to store everything on desktop. And that's why I picked Powtoon, because it was like, no, everything can be stored in the cloud. I know everything's safe up there. They've got my back and I can access it anywhere. So that is the advantage of having Powtoon. And Udutu is the same thing. It's cloud-based. You just sign into your account and you have all the tools there at your fingertips to create video and courses.
Okay. I see, because Rob's got a further info here. He's mentioning that he needs to be mindful of where the data is stored outside of Canada. Is usually no dice. Now, this is something that's come up more and more, especially with the advent of the GDPR law in Europe. Yes, the Udutu is Canadian. Rob, in that particular instance, you should be okay. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to this question, but I do know that we're GDPR compliant at Powtoon. And I do know that certainly if you want to speak to one of our experts, they can give you a more detailed answer about that. That's the kind of thing that they're much more well-versed in than I am on the creator side. So I hope that answers that question to you there. Now we're actually 2 minutes over, ladies and gentlemen, if you can believe it. So I mean, we got a bunch more questions here. I want to just take the temperature from folks in the chat. Let us know. Keep going. A couple more minutes. Answer a few more questions, or do you guys want to wrap it up? We've got Laura who says keep going. I've got one vote for keep going. Sonia says got to go. Sonia says got to go. Don't worry, Sonia, you're going to get a replay. Thanks, guys. Great session. Yes, keep going, says Mustafa. Okay, listen, 2 keep goings is good enough for me. We've got a couple other folks chiming in as well. So we're going to keep going here. We had that question. Is it possible to send the results from a quiz to a learning management system?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the authoring tool is SCORM compliant. So you will get all of whatever your LMS enables or allows. You can upload that and you can get that data from your quiz, from your course, from the quiz questions in your course. Yeah.
Excellent. We've got Laura who's asking, do you have to use Udutu to publish? Not sure of the different functionality. Yes, and again, so Jennifer, as you just said, you could use this with a different LMS, download the SCORM zip file and upload it that way. And also, you can use Powtoon videos and other visual elements from Powtoon. Any place you would use that. You could use that on a social media feed. You use that in your intranet. You could use that something that you're including, in email communications or in a chat channel. So in terms of the course, right? on Udutu's LMS, or download a SCORM compliant package and put it on any other LMS that you're using. And Powtoon videos, use them any place you're using video.
Yeah, there's web-based authoring tools. That same sort of process of embedding, like Rise. Same thing happens. You can do the same workflow. It is magic. Either whatever authoring tool you use. For sure.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Another couple of questions here. Brian wants to know, can we add photos to characters, similar how JibJab allows the uploading of photos to create characters we immediately relate to? So they're actually under specials. There may be a few older ones that approximate that. So you sort of upload a headshot and put that in. But actually, the method I recommend to get that similar feel with a Powtoon character is to have your image of the face that you're using, upload that as an image, right, as a JPEG, and then put that over the head of an existing character, right? So that way you've got the body movements of the character, but you've got the sort of jib-jab style head that you're putting on top, the real image, static image head on top with maybe a couple of different expressions that you would use. So definitely, Brian, definitely possible, but not necessarily built into Powtoon, but a really, really easy thing to do. Stephanie says, thanks so much. Yeah, JibJab was a few years ago.
Yeah,
about
right.
10 years
Yes,
ago.
yes.
But it's still definitely there's time and a place.
The elf.
There's definitely time and a place for all that sort of stuff. Una wanted to know, of course, approximately how long does it take to create a 60-second video? We briefly mentioned that before. If you're using a template, if you're taking a template that exists in Powtoon and you're simply uploading, changing the colors, uploading a logo, and updating the text, you can get that video done in 12 minutes. And so that, somewhere in the 5 to 10 minute range, I'd say is about the very fastest you can get that kind of video done. But also, if you want to take a little more time, if you want to customize it further, if you want to create a scene from scratch, all of those may in fact add a little more time onto what you're doing. I find also, and this has really been my experience, very, very quickly with tools like Powtoon, it's been my experience with Powtoon, the more I use it, the faster I get with it. I learn those little things that save you time. Just like we're getting these insights today from you, Jennifer, about how you've learned to save time and rapidly create courses, right? You, in fact, you, the audience, as you use this software and start to create more, both on the Powtoon side and the Udutu side, that gets more intuitive and it gets faster and easier. So yeah, it all depends. I hope that is an okay answer to your question there. Stephanie mentions our LMS is Moodle based. I don't know if that means something to you, Jennifer.
Yeah, Moodle based. Yeah, I think you can put SCORM. I'm not 100% sure about that. I haven't really worked directly with Moodle. I know it's mostly for like education, like in classrooms they'll use Moodle. And I think you can definitely upload your Powtoons there. I know that. Okay. But I think the SCORM compliant, I think you can put it into Moodle. I should check that, but I don't know the full answer to that, but I think you can. Going with maybe yes.
Love it. I love it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a reminder, please take a look at your inbox tomorrow because you are going to receive a link to a video replay, on-demand video replay of this webinar. You can watch anytime, share with your colleagues. So if there's anything you want to revisit or anything like that, take a look at that there.
Oh, you're welcome, Laura.
I want to also remind everyone before you hop off, if you haven't had a chance yet and you want to hear more, you want to get in touch with one of our solutions experts or someone over at Udutu, you can go ahead and tick that box on the quiz. I believe on the poll that I shared with everyone there. So if you want to hear from Powtoon,
tough answer here. Which one do I want?
Right, and you can check all that apply, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to hear from both, you can go ahead and click both. I also want to thank Jennifer. I want to thank you for your time and your expertise today. It's been really fun putting this together. It's just a great experience and really cool to see your creativity and what you've done to elevate what you do, to elevate training into something that you really care about. What is the learner experience? And you bring that level of care to not just the courses you're making, but the whole process and approach. And you're able to share that with this audience today, with Powtoon users, with Udutu users. It's an inspiration to me, and I'm so grateful I got to share that with you. today, that you shared that with us. I want to thank everyone in the audience who joined us today. Thanks for all your chats. Thanks for all your questions. You guys really, if it's without you, it's just me and Jennifer talking to each other. So this is, you really brought something special to this today. I want to remind you all to stay safe, stay connected, and stay awesome. Have a great day, great rest of your day, great rest of your week, everybody.
Thanks again, Nick. I had a lot of fun.
Bye, everybody.